Hey everyone, happy Saturday and welcome back to your favorite weekly podcast. I hope everyone had an amazing week and I cannot believe that we are getting into the month of September. We're getting into the BER months, which as we all know are my favorite months. This is our last podcast in August, which is absolutely insane, but we have so many fun things to look forward to, and honestly, I just cannot wait to get into my absolute favorite season. So hopefully you guys had a great week. Hopefully you guys are getting some cooler weather wherever you are. Maybe we've been getting that like kind of fake fall weather where it's kind of cool in the morning and then it gets super hot. And like my perfect weather for me is like, it depends. If there's like a breeze, it can be up to like mid 70s, high 70s. And I'm like, great, love this. But when there's not a breeze, that's where I like struggle. I need some wind flow. Like I go to bed with like 3 fans. If I'm in the car, the AC is blowing. If I'm anywhere, I need the AC blowing on me. Even if it's freaking like cold outside, I still just need airflow. So if it's breezy outside, I can handle a little bit of warmer temperatures, but I still love the like high 60s, low 70s are my absolute favorite kind of weather. And it's also about to be bonfire season. We have this bonfire that my grandma got me, and it's like one of those super fancy, like, it's basically like doesn't have smoke. Supposedly it's like really fancy. She's very fancy, but I am so excited to be using that this season, especially now that we have a fenced in backyard, and also to keep away any bugs. So I will be using that all season long, making a lot of s'mores. Cannot wait for that. So got to pull that bad boy out, put it in the backyard because it's getting kind of cool at night too, which is like, finally, thank goodness. But yeah, I'm excited to get into the stories for this week. We have some pretty big stories that have happened, and you know, it's always fun like picking stories because I try to pick things that maybe aren't super headliney and that I feel like you guys will find interesting and that I find interesting too, and not just stories that are kind of like the same old that you'll hear about every time you scroll on your phone. But of course we do have some, you know, typical big pop culture news. But anyway, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into this week's episode. Okay, so speaking of the BER months, it is almost that time for me to be doing my yearly Gilmore Girls rewatch. And the older that I've gotten, I still love the show. The show is so timeless, and it's just such like a perfect, amazing show that people, I feel like, continue to watch every single year. And my one thing is, as I've gotten older, I find that once the show hits the later seasons, I just don't enjoy it as much. And it's just so frustrating to me. Like when Lorelai and Rory aren't speaking, when Rory drops out of college and then she's living with her grandparents, just like the whole latter half of the season, I don't know if I want to put myself through that again. I might just be rewatching the first few seasons over and over again. Also, when April gets thrown into the mix with like Luke, it's still such a good show, but I've not been appreciating the later seasons. And I find that like I'm just not looking forward to watching them. So I might just be watching the first few seasons and leaving it at that. But let me know if that is so not okay to do for a yearly rewatch. I've never done that. I've always watched it all the way through, but the early seasons are, to me, like those are the comforting seasons when they're like in Stars Hollow. Everyone's good and dandy, but then the later seasons when it gets so complicated, and again, that is life. Like when we get older, life gets way more complicated, as do different TV shows, and as the characters are growing and progressing, there's lots of issues, and it's not that, you know, just comfort of day-to-day life that you're used to as a kid and the innocence of a kid. I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel, but I might end up just not actually doing a full rewatch and maybe just watching the seasons that I actually love. But anyway, speaking of Gilmore Girls, we have a Gilmore Girls documentary called Searching for Stars Hollow that will be coming out in celebration of their 25th anniversary. And this again just goes to show this is such a good quality, comforting, nostalgic, amazing TV show that everyone loves to watch and still comes back every single year to rewatch it. And it's something that I have never gotten sick of. And it's something that, to me, when I think of fall, when I get again into these next few months, I can't picture these next few months without Lorelai Gilmore. You know what I mean? So I love this. I think this is going to be something I would definitely be tuning in to watch. So with fall right around the corner, new Gilmore Girls content is thawing out. So as they're preparing to celebrate their 25th anniversary, a new documentary titled Searching for Stars Hollow, named after obviously the town where the show is set, is in the works. So the film is going to combine interviews with cast and crew to paint a fuller picture of what went on behind the scenes of this drama. And the show, which has become a comfort watch for many, premiered in October of 2000, which I was born January 2000. So the fact that this show came out the year that I was born, love that. But it premiered in 2000 and wormed its way into the hearts of viewers as it followed Lorelai and Rory. So this documentary is going to pull conversations with stars like Kelly Bishop, who played Emily Gilmore, and then of course Rory's high school sweetheart Dean. Other stars who are also going to be included are Chad Michael Murray, her best friend Lane, pretty much everyone who was a main part in the show is going to be interviewed and part of this documentary. The only thing that has not been mentioned, and that if this is not part of the documentary, I don't know why they would do it, is Lauren and Alexis have not been mentioned to be a part of this documentary. I don't know if they are of course going to be a part of it and they're just not saying it and making it a surprise, or if they're actually not going to be a part of this documentary and it's just the other main actors of the show. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting. And a lot of people are hoping that they're going to be in it, but nothing has been confirmed. So there's also no release date, and they are well into production, but they're still kind of working through the documentary, which I guess gives me hope that they will eventually announce that Lorelai and Roy are going to be a part of this. But the fact that everyone else is a part of this documentary, I'm sure they're going to, of course, incorporate the two main stars of the show. Anyway, I'm excited. Nearly all of the major cast members are returning, and I'm just excited. Nevertheless, even if it doesn't come out right away, I still have Gilmore Girls to watch, and maybe they'll do it where, you know, I think most people, when do you guys rewatch your Gilmore Girls? Because I tend to watch it way earlier on, because I don't like to watch it in October because that's more like Halloween for me. So I feel like last year I did watch it in August. I might wait until September. But I definitely watch it on the earlier side. It's kind of my like going into the fall season. So I do it like August, September. But let me know when you guys do your annual rewatch, because I feel like what they might do is wait to do it, maybe put it in October so that after everyone's kind of done their rewatch, then they can all watch a documentary together. So I'm excited. And again, I've been researching and there's still no news about Lorelai and Rory being a part of it. So we will see, but that is just so exciting. I cannot wait to watch this documentary. And even if they're not part of it, I'm still going to watch it just to learn, you know, a little bit of the behind the scenes, because I do love learning about all of that fun stuff. So there you go, guys. To all my Gilmore Girls fans, we have new content and I'm so excited. All right, our next story, we're going to jump into the Love Island Season 7 reunion. Can I just say I'm so glad that this season is over. This was a terrible, awful, horrible season. And what's making it worse is after the reunion came out, I wonder if they have to sign an NDA or what goes on, because I'm pretty sure days, maybe even one day after the reunion came out, it came out that basically the main winners and couples of the show have broken up. So we have Amaya and Brian who have broken up. Iris and Pepe broke up, which that was more shocking to me that it happened so soon after the reunion. And obviously Hood and Chris are not together at all. And so all we have is Nick and Alandria, who are the only couple still standing. And there's just been so much drama and just so much crap and just like negativity that's come out from this cast. And I saw that Ace went on a podcast and was kind of talking about Nick and Alandria. He also was stating that the episode where it was either Jalen or Huda who was going home and Ace stood behind Huda, and everyone was so confused, even online, because like he cannot stand Huda. So everyone was like, why is he standing behind her? He was basically hinting that there are a lot of factors that play into decisions and who is going home, which we've seen for season 6 of Love Island. Leah, she came out after the show and just said that production and the producers do a lot of just a lot of crap to stir the pot, stir up the drama. They were I think it was, they were lying to Leah about basically like everyone, you know, in America hates her, when in reality she was like the fan favorite. So I think production has a lot to do with the show, and the fact that Ace basically hinted at that, and I feel like that has to be an NDA. Like, you can't really say that you were forced to do something, but it made it seem like production basically was like, Huda needs to say you need to stand behind her, which if that's the truth, I mean, the show is just going to go downhill, because that is so not what we watch it for. We watch it for the Islanders to make smart decisions and make the decisions that they want by themselves. I don't want to be watching a show where the producers are basically like making everything happen the way that they want it to, and that they think will be better TV, because that's just not fair, honestly. And I would have rather had Jalen stay than Huda, okay, because she made it to freaking Final Four with Chris. And anyway, but the reunion, so I did watch the reunion. I honestly thought it was very overhyped. There wasn't anything crazy that happened that I was like, wow, I'm so glad I watched this, or wow, that's just so like juicy. I was kind of like not a fan, and I was very bored. It was only 2 hours. I think they recorded for like 7 to 9 hours, and they only had 2 hours of footage, and it wasn't that exciting to watch for me personally. I'm trying to think, like, even there's nothing that stood out for me that I wanted to even mention to you guys that happened that was so crazy, other than the fact of everything that came out after the reunion, right? Like, I feel like we need a reunion after the reunion, because now everything has blown up, and I'm just intrigued to know if the couples can't announce that they're broken up until the reunion has aired. And honestly, what they should do is just make the reunion come out like right when they film it, and not make us wait so long, or film the reunion a little bit later down the road. I don't know, but the fact that it came out and now like all the couples are broken up is so crazy. But it was funny because obviously TJ and Iris had a thing, and then Iris was with Pepe, and now that they're broken up, TJ posted a really funny TikTok kind of hinting at like, you know, they're broken up, like blah blah blah, and everyone's like, go get your girl. So I think what I'm most excited for is to see who gets together with who, right? Because everyone's out in the real world. I'm sure some people live closer than others. I saw that Jeremiah was hanging out with Iris and Hannah, and it's just kind of crazy and funny to see who hangs out with which people. But yeah, overall, not a great reunion. Again, like nothing even really happened. Austin was actually being really funny. He was spaced out the whole entire time, and everyone was like, he has to be on something, and he was like, no, we literally were just filming for so long and it was so boring that I just kept zoning out. Charlie and Hannah mentioned that she would never, there's no romantic or anything that she would want with him, and I want to know if something happened out in the real world, because she just seemed so very like, I'm not into you anymore. Maybe I missed something, but I feel like Charlie was wanting Hannah to say like there's a chance, and she was like, there's literally no chance. And I was like, but why? Like, what happened with you guys? I want to know. I'm trying to think what else. Huda, again, just, I get there's a ton of Huda fans out there, but she, I mean, even if you're watching the reunion, she was just laughing at herself, watching herself back, doing like all this crazy stuff on television. And I know that there's so many Huda stans, but I just don't get it. I don't understand. She just like, anytime I see her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't even look at her. I feel like she has a lot of work to do on herself. I feel like, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. And the fact that there's so many fans of hers is wild to me. And also, if the whole cast, you know, isn't that close with her, except I think Amaya is the only one. But it's like, okay, there has to be something wrong if everyone has a problem with you and everyone doesn't like you, then that's got to be a you problem. But I loved Andy Cohen. I think he did really good. He didn't really go hard really at anyone, and a lot of people who were newer fans and who have never seen Andy Cohen were saying, oh my gosh, she was so mean to Huda, like, oh my gosh, he's so mean. I was like, have you seen any of these Housewives reunions or any Bravo reunion? He was so, like, if he could have been a level 20, he was a level like 2, I feel like, at this reunion. It was just, I don't know, the reunion did not live up to the hype at all. I honestly don't really care about anyone now. I'm glad it's over. I know I mentioned that Love Island Game season 2 is coming back. I will be watching that. I don't know if I have it in myself to do another season of Love Island, because I've spent so much time watching the show, right? Because the show is pretty much every single night of the week, and I was giving an hour to 2 hours of myself to watching the show every single night, and it just drained me. And even now, the cast is just being so ridiculous, going on podcasts talking about bad about other people, and I don't know. It's a lot. The cast is a lot. The season was a lot. And I'm just glad that it's over. And I can now move into Dancing with the Stars, because that is where my heart lies. And that is a good show. That is a good, positive, comforting show. Love Island was not. Okay. But yeah, if you watched the reunion, let me know what your thoughts were. If you didn't, honestly, don't even. Oh, okay. The one thing that did happen. Sorry, I don't even know how I forgot about this. The one thing that they did do is they showed in the extended version of the heart rate challenge. And Huda did way too much, like I figured, okay? And, you know, she kept saying, like, we never talked about boundaries. Like, it's just a challenge. But my thing is, like, she could have picked any guy to do that much to. And she stuck with one guy who was your supposed best friend's partner, who they've been a solid couple for weeks. Like, if I was in Huda's position, I'm not going after some guy who I know is in a almost committed relationship. Like, it's just weird to me how she moved in that way. And that's what I think people are understanding. And what Shelly was mad about is it's not like, yes, it's a heart rate challenge. It's a challenge, blah, blah, blah. But it's who she did it to. Like, that's the weird thing. And I don't know why people aren't getting that in their heads, but it's fine. And I need to stop talking about it because it will make my blood boil, you guys. Anyway. That was Love Island reunion. You honestly didn't really miss much besides that. All right, let's get into our next story. Probably the biggest story that I'm sure if you have social media, you probably clicked through this announcement 1,000 times. And I'm sure you've already heard of this. And if you haven't, let me be the first to tell you that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. They announced it on Instagram and captioned that your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. And there was a bomb emoji, which it apparently stands for like the TNT, Taylor and Travis. And she apparently had a bracelet that said TNT. So kind of cute. And they announced it on August 26th. And after all the sleuths did all of their little mystery work, it was pretty much figured out that he proposed right after they did that podcast. And so honestly, props to him, because I feel like girls were so like aware of what's going on, especially like if our guys are acting different or acting weird and something's kind of like off routine. I think especially her, I feel like she's so smart and would know if something was happening. And so the fact that he was like, okay, you can sit here with these headphones on and talk for 2 to 3 hours, right, while he was getting everything set up in the backyard. That's honestly so smart, because there was no way of her to like somehow find something out. You know what I mean? Like, she's sitting here. And honestly, like, even me sitting here with my headphones on, like, Chandler could be doing, my husband, whatever he wanted. Like, you just have no idea what's going on when you're sitting in your own little world talking on your podcast. So smart on his end. And it was basically, he set up all these flowers. It was in his backyard. It looked really, really pretty. And it is so weird, because I obviously grew up listening to Taylor Swift since like her debut album, right? And she's been singing forever of love and heartbreak, and it is so crazy for me just to be here now and seeing her getting engaged is kind of like, oh my gosh, like, it's something that you never thought would happen, or maybe you did, but like for me, like, it just never, I don't know, I already thought they were engaged and married, honestly, just because I feel like she's never been so public with the guy and would never like go on a podcast and like announce an album on a guy's sports podcast. So I'm so happy for them, honestly. And the ring is just so cool. The only thing that's so annoying is it's just like every Instagram story, they're engaged, they're engaged, they're engaged. I was like, can I just like mute everyone who reposts it? Because like, even on their post together, I think it's like at millions of reposts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I love it. I saw the post, and now it's like, I don't want to see the post 10 million other times. But I am very happy for them. And, you know, when you know, I feel like they do work so well together, and I'm happy that she's going to get her happy ever after. And I know that they said that they want kids, so just very happy for her. And it's just so cool. She's had so much heartbreak. She's saying so much about heartbreak, and now I feel like we're just going to get all happy albums and happy songs, and just excited for them. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it because I know everyone's heard about it literally everywhere. But yeah, congrats to the happy couple. Okay, our next story is Kevin Jonas sang solo for the very first time while debuting a new song called Changing at the Jonas Brothers Boston concert. Now, this was so crazy for me to see, because I just never even thought, wow, I've never even heard him sing solo, right? Because it's pretty much Nick or Joe singing, and then you have Kevin singing background and playing the guitar. But at their Boston show, he sang solo, and his wife went on social media and she said, "Last night was a moment I will never forget. Hearing you sing your own song and watching your voice fill the stadium brought me to tears. I'm beyond proud of you and so grateful that everyone else finally got to hear the voice I've loved for so long." And what a surreal moment, right? I mean, it's been years of them being a band together and of singing, and then for him to finally have his own song and like share his voice. And honestly, his voice was so good. I don't know if you guys seen the clip of him singing, but he sounded so amazing. And obviously, there's different people who are probably more introverted or probably more nervous about like singing. Like for me, I feel like I can sing pretty decently. I don't think you could ever get me like on a stage like singing by myself, like if I was famous. You know what I mean? It's like some people don't want to do that, and then you have like Joe and Nick who just like, obviously that's their career, is just singing. But so cool for him. And what like a crazy moment to be in that room, and it's his first time singing solo, and he crushed it. He killed it, honestly. And I think at the beginning he was like, I'm just so nervous. And it's like, I feel like you don't see these men who are like, I'm so nervous to do something. And it was just, I think it was such a cool moment, and just really special to see. And it didn't, like, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I've literally never heard his voice before like that. He's never sang solo, and now he is. Like, that's so crazy. I just was not expecting to see that on my feed randomly, but he crushed it, and I'm just so happy for him. So very exciting. All right, our next story is, oh my gosh, something that I am so mad about, because the New York Times put their mini crossword behind a paywall. You guys, the mini crossword was my favorite thing besides the actual Wordle. Most of the other games they have on there, I'm too dumb to figure out, honestly. But the Wordle, sometimes connections, unless it's too hard, then I just like get out of there. But the mini crossword, I loved the mini crossword. But apparently the New York Times decided to put that behind the subscription paywall. And I'm pretty sure if you ask anyone who plays the New York Times games, the mini crossword is probably in the top, I would say, 3 most used New York Times games, honestly. So basically, the mini crossword was just like a little bite-sized mini version of their daily word puzzle. And so for years, they offered it for free on their platform. And then this past Tuesday, August 26th, people went to go play the mini crossword, and it said, sorry, you have to pay for a subscription to play the game. And it costs $6 per month or $50 per year. I'm sorry. This is so dumb to me. Like, I'm not paying a subscription to play something that I've been playing for free for a long time now. And everyone online is actually raging. And it's so crazy to me that I get some of the games are behind like the big crossword. I get, okay, put it behind a subscription wall because you need to make the money. But why would you pay a super successful game that everyone plays behind a paywall? Like, that's what's probably driving a lot of people to you, is the Wordle, the mini crossword, connections. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Those are really the main ones that I always did. And now it's like, I'm going to delete the app, honestly, because I could just do Wordle anywhere. Like, I could just do the Safari Wordle. But like, I just don't understand why they chose to do that. I'm glad that I heard about this before I tried to play it, because that would have probably ruined my day. That would be something that would happen if I'm having just like a really bad day. And whenever I have a bad day, it's like multiple things that are bad happen to me. And so that would have been something where it's like I was having a really bad day, and then I go to play my like mini crossword at night, and then it says I have to pay for a subscription, and that would have just sent me over the edge. And that would have just not been good. So I'm glad I saw this beforehand and didn't try to get on the app, but I'm very intrigued as to why they chose to make this behind a paywall. And then a spokesperson for the New York Times noted that while Wordle, Connection, Strands, and Sudoku are still free to play for all, okay, yeah, I play Wordle, I play Connections, I'm not playing Strands, I'm not playing Sudoku. Sorry. Like, I want to play my mini crossword puzzle. Anyway, I feel like this will be something where they take it back and they make it become free, because I don't think there would have been this much of an uproar if they were making like Sudoku behind a paywall. You know what I mean? I think that people feel very passionate about the mini crossword, and I can see them taking a little step back and being like, we're so sorry, we're gonna make it free again, and also here's like a free month. You know what I mean? But yeah, super crazy. I can't believe they did that, and they need to change it back to what it was, please. Also, I'm down to 3 Witch's Brew Alani's, and I have been seeing that they are apparently putting people in hospitals. And like I mentioned before, like I don't do well with caffeine, but I've literally, I opened this hours ago and I still have like 3/4 of it. So I'm drinking them very slowly. A lot of times I'll just like put it back in my fridge and I'll drink like one. It'll take me like a few days to finish. So I'm okay, guys, don't worry about me. But it's just so, like, the flavor is just so good. Like I don't know what else I would buy to replicate a caramel apple flavor. I really don't. It's just so, it's so good. Okay, next story. This is kind of crazy because it was kind of like a ripple effect, and it is the cast of SNL has had a lot of announcements of people leaving this cast. So the first one was Devin Walker. He announced that he is exiting after 3 seasons, and he said, "Me and the show did 3 years together, and sometimes it was really cool, sometimes it was toxic as hell." Which is kind of like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Like, you're leaving SNL and you're going to say it was kind of toxic as hell. Interesting. I want to know if there's some like lore behind that. Obviously there is, but kind of cryptic and kind of crazy to post. Then we have Michael Longfellow, who is also leaving after 3 seasons, and he said that he will not be returning for a 4th season. "Wish I was, but so it goes. It was the best 3 years of my life so far. I feel nothing but gratitude for the experience and everyone there." So he was not called back. He did not choose to leave. And then this was the craziest one because she's probably my favorite one on the show, and she's been there forever. Heidi Gardner. She announced that she will be leaving after 8 seasons, and I don't know if she's put out a statement yet. I have not seen anything, but she's choosing not to come back, and I think that's so crazy because I feel like she was in every single skit. She was like my favorite. She's so good. She's so funny, and now I'm like, do I even want to watch anymore? Like, is there anyone I even want to watch at SNL anymore? So number one question is, why is this happening? And obviously it's a mix. There was someone else who he was only on season 50, so he was there for 1 season. He also did not get a call back, and so there's already been 4 people who were not asked back to come for next season, right? And my thought is, they just had the 50th season. They're going to be coming up on the 51st. I wonder if they're just trying to do a whole factory reset and get rid of like everyone, but also it's like, you know, 2 people are choosing on their own to leave. And I saw somewhere, and this is just a rumor, but they were doing auditions for Weekend Update. And I was like, are they going to be getting rid of Colin Jost and Michael J? Like, I don't understand. That was like my favorite thing to watch too. So I don't know. I feel like they are just going to be trying to change it up a little bit, maybe, but this is so crazy. It was kind of like one day, you know, Devin Walker announced, and the next day Michael Longfellow, then the next day Heidi Gardner. It's like, who else is going to be coming out saying they're not coming back to SNL? Are they going to even have any OG cast members at all on the show? And also, I feel like that would be such a fun job to have. Obviously, if it is toxic, then okay, I can see why you would want to leave. But also just like, I love that stuff. Like, I love doing little skits and comedy and like improv. When I was like way younger, I did a few improv classes and it was so fun. Like, I feel like this would be such a fun job to do. But again, if it's like, you know, toxic, then maybe not. But super crazy. I'll keep you updated if anyone else announces that they are leaving. But yeah, really crazy. We'll see what season 51 entails. All right, our next story. I want to talk a little bit about the Universal Halloween Horror Nights because I love watching all of the Halloween haunted house walkthroughs at Universal, knowing I myself would never put myself through that. I love watching scary stuff, but like I can like when I get scared, it like, oh my gosh, like a jump scare. Like even my husband, he's so quiet. I don't know how he's so quiet because he's like 6 foot tall, but he like walks like I can't hear him walking in the house, and I'll just be like in the bathroom or I'll be doing something in the kitchen, and he will just like start talking like behind me, and I'm like I will scream, and like my heart rate will rise so much. I'm like, I didn't even hear, like, how are you so freaking quiet? Anyway, so while I would always love to go into a haunted house at Universal, I know that myself, I could never do it. I would need to maybe drink like so much to even think of walking into one of those. But I do love listening and watching and learning all about the house that they're going to be having. And this year, if you love haunted houses, I feel like this would be a great time for you to go, because the number one biggest house, all the big news that I've heard, is the Terrifier house. This one, you guys, I've seen so many videos about the Terrifier house, and Art the Clown, he apparently is going to be walking around Universal, and also he's going to be walking around in the haunted house, and it apparently is so gory, so gross, and I watched a walkthrough. It was so disturbing. Oh my gosh. So basically, there's so many scenes. I've never seen the Terrifier movies. I like Art the Clown as just like a Halloween character, right? But the movie, I don't like disturbing movies. Like, I can't do gross movies like that. But when I watch the walkthrough, I don't know how people are going to be walking through it. It apparently smells. There's a room that smells like bleach. There's a bathroom room where you walk in. It smells like a bathroom. And apparently you get soaking wet. Okay. So it's different at California Universal and then the Florida one. The Florida one, you get wet no matter what. And it's kind of like, I guess like a car wash. It's supposed to be like blood and it's just like water. And I think the lights make it look red. But apparently they had cast previews. So the cast goes through first and tests it all out. And it flooded and they had to shut down the haunted house that first night that they were doing the cast previews. And so I think they lowered down the water a little bit because now it's back up, and people said it was more kind of like you're getting rained on a little bit. And I think it was way more intense when they first did it, and then it flooded. So that's kind of crazy. They also sell ponchos right outside before you go in. Super, super crazy. And then there's apparently a chicken exit where you have to go out the chicken exit, and I think it takes you backstage, but Art the Clown's waiting there. That's going to be so crazy. Prayers to everyone who goes into this house, because it's gross. And then the other really big one that actually would go in is the Five Nights at Freddy's house. It has every single character from Five Nights at Freddy's, and the people who tested out the house said that it's not so much of like a super gross or like big jump scare one. It's more just like so cool to see all the props and the architecture and how they built the house. And there is, I think, one part where Foxy, you can kind of see him. He's all the way back and there's a big track, and I think one of the jump scares is he like zooms on the track and like jumps out at you. But other than that, it looks like a really cool house, and I would honestly go into that one because I think just the whole like scenery of the whole house looks so cool. But some of the other houses, they have the Jason haunted house, and it's basically like his like shack, and it's in the woods or something like that. Dolls, Let's Play Dead. So you become a doll size and witness the unnatural creations of a twisted little girl. You're hunted by burnt fashion dolls, toys that she melded together. I think that would be one I could do as well. But some of the more like grosser ones, like the Insidious house, oh my gosh, I watched so many walkthroughs of that, but I could never have walked into that one. But the big ones for this year, obviously you're going to be Terrifier and Five Nights at Freddy's. Those will definitely have the biggest waiting lines. And I just can't wait to see all the walkthroughs because that's one of my favorite things to do. So that I can pretend like I'm going through it, but I'm actually not. There's also apparently new necklaces you can buy when you go to Universal, and it's for like if you're a scaredy cat, and if the light is on, then people won't come up and scare you. So maybe if I had that, I could do it. I don't know. I've always like, when we were in Florida last year, I really wanted to go, but I just knew I didn't want to pay the money and then actually cry the whole entire time and want to leave. So maybe one day I'll get myself down there, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. Anyway. And then our last little story, I don't know why I've never talked to you guys about this, but The Summer I Turned Pretty, I'm all caught up. It's one of my favorite shows that I've been watching. And I had to talk to you guys about this last episode because, oh my gosh, let me just say, first of all, I've never read the books. I don't know how it ends. I know that she, in the books, ends up with Conrad, but just some of the parts of the TV show just make me so mad. Belly especially, like, for whatever reason, in season 3, her character, I just cannot stand. I don't want her with anyone. I don't want Conrad with her at all. I honestly want Conrad to run away and marry some girl who, like, is obsessed with him. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that's, like, my view on it. But thoughts on the last episode, okay? Thank goodness that Taylor called her out and was being a true friend, saying, listen, you are not going to Paris because of Jeremiah, which honestly, they kind of skipped over that, I feel like, because I was like, wait, she's not going to Paris because of freaking Jeremiah. She gave up, who else? Like her mom, like she left to go be with Jeremiah. She was about to be like, Taylor, don't come to the wedding. She told Connor to come to the wedding. Like she just was putting every single thing above or no, putting Jeremiah above every single thing. And it was like, if everyone's telling you something, like, he literally cheats on you, your brother's dying in the hospital, he proposes to you randomly out of nowhere without a ring, and then you're just gonna say yes, and you're young and you still don't know what you're doing with your life. Okay, yeah, that's smart. So this whole show is so crazy to me. I want to know if other people are going to find out about Cabo, specifically Steven and like all the parents, because I feel like, first of all, Belly didn't get mad enough at that and was telling Conrad like he treated her worse than Jeremiah. I was like, Jeremiah literally cheated on you and then proposed to you. Conrad just like broke up with you and you're going to say that he treated you worse? Whatever. What else? The show's just, oh my gosh. I will say they did a really good job of, I did feel bad for Jeremiah, I did feel bad for Belly, and I did feel bad for Conrad in the last episode. I don't know, it's such a crazy show. And then I was seeing that apparently the book, like the wedding gets cut off, right? And then the book kind of ends and then it just has like a few pages left, I think. And there's 3 more episodes of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I don't know what Jenny Han's gonna do. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. And then also the whole letter switch. I want to know if we'll see Belly open the letter that Susanna wrote to her. But also, like, it just happened to be the letter for Conrad and Jeremiah. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm excited to see the rest of the seasons. Honestly, if Belly ends up with no one, I will be happy. Just because she just makes me mad. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, 3 more episodes. I wish they would just announce them or put them all out right now, because the ending of her in the airport and then Conrad right there, I was like, seriously? Now I have to wait a whole another week. It's fine. But anyway, those were all of our stories for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I can't believe the next time I'm talking to you guys, it'll be September. And I hope everyone has an amazing long weekend, a great Labor Day. Go do something fun. Go sit out on a patio. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Bye, guys.